Dear friends, welcome back. You are joining with me for Ancillary Physics 3, Electricity and Electronics. And today we are going to see two topics. One is determination of thermal coefficient of resistance, and the second topic is introduction to potentiometer. First topic that we are going to discuss is determination of thermal coefficient of resistance. Right? Determination of thermal coefficient of resistance. This is the first topic that we are going to discuss in this lecture. Well, what does it mean? Thermal coefficient of a resistance. And that is what we are going to determine. Okay, but what is thermal coefficient? Right? See, if you are having resistance, right? And see, assume that this is a resistance. Say for example, this is a resistance. We usually say that a particular value for this resistor, okay? Resistor is a component and resistance is the value that holds. Isn't it? For this particular resistor, we used to say it has the value R, that is the resistance value, numerical value of this resistor. Okay, usually we used to say this as a constant, but indeed it is not a constant. This resistance will vary if you increase the temperature of the resistor. If the temperature is high, then if you change the temperature, then the value of the resistor will also be changed. Right? How this change will take place? If you ask such question, that you can precisely define using this, the term thermal coefficient of a particular resistor. The resistor is made up of some materials. So material to material, this thermal coefficient value will vary. For a particular composition of resistors, if you increase the temperature, then the resistance value increase to certain point. In the other case, for another composition of the resistors, if you increase the temperature, it may not have the equal proportion to the one that we have determined earlier. It may have different type of increase in the resistance or decrease in the resistance when you increase the temperature or decrease the temperature. So we need to make a common formalism in order to understand how the resistance value of a particular resistor will change when we apply temperature on it. That is what we are going to discuss in this lecture. Well, let us consider R0 is the temperature, R0 is the resistance of a particular resistor at 0 degrees Celsius. At the same time, let us define RT is the resistance of a resistor at T degrees Celsius. For a particular material, for a same material, this is for a same material, same resistor. Okay, same resistive material, R0 is the resistance of that resistor at 0 degrees Celsius, while RT is the resistance at the temperature T degree Celsius. Now we can write the equation for RT. that is equal to R naught multiplied by 1 plus alpha t. Right? Here we have denoted what is R naught and what is RT. R naught and RT were already denoted. What does it mean? And T is the temperature. So here T is temperature. Okay, what is alpha? And this alpha is nothing but, it is defined as thermal coefficient. Okay, it is defined as thermal coefficient. And this is what we need to calculate. So that we have to rewrite this equation in terms of alpha. How to do that? Let's take this equation RT, which is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha t. Now bring R naught into this bracket. So it becomes R naught multiplied by 1, which is equal to R naught plus R naught alpha t. And we can bring this to left so that we can write RT minus R naught, which is equal to R naught alpha t. Now we want the expression for alpha, which is equal to RT minus R naught divided by R naught t. Right? Now we have obtained the equation for alpha. Right? We can make it in an elegant way. What is that? This is the difference between the temperature, the resistance at 0 degree Celsius and the resistance at T degree Celsius, which means it represents a difference, right? So this you can write a difference, that is dr, change in resistance when you change the temperature, dr, divided by, right? You can put 1 by R separately, R naught. R naught is the resistance at 0 degree Celsius. See, initially this temperature will be 0 and finally it becomes T. So that here you can write this temperature T minus 0. If you assume that it is T minus 0, no, T minus 0, it doesn't make any sense. You can simply write T, so that it is the difference of temperature from 0 to T, so that you can write it is dt. So you can write this equation as 1 by R naught dr by dt, change in resistance in respect of change in temperature. So this is the thermal coefficient of resistance. Fine. So this is the common formula for any material given to you. So if a material is given to you, you can able to estimate the alpha using this formula. How to do that? Let's see an experiment. But before stepping into that experiment, let's formally define what is thermal coefficient in terms of a statement. Right? Let me write down that statement. The formal definition is definition for alpha, that is thermal coefficient of a resistance. How to write that? So thermal coefficient of a resistance or material can be defined as the increase of resistance per unit resistance per unit temperature per the rise of, resistance per degree rise of temperature. This is the formal definition for thermal coefficient of a material or resistance. It is defined as the increase of resistance per unit resistance per degree rise of temperature. What does it mean? How do I have to understand that? Let us see with an example. Okay, shall we see with an example? Assume that initially the resistance of a material, you can say initially it will be, say for example at 0 degree Celsius, for example, it will be 10 ohms. Okay, or you can say at 0 degree or 10 degree, whatever. Let's take this as at 10 degree Celsius, for example, you can say at 10 degree Celsius the resistance of a given material is 10 ohms. Now we are increasing a degree rise of temperature, which means it is raised to 11 degree Celsius from 10 to 11. Now how much amount of increase of resistance per unit resistance, that we have to calculate. But here let us see, suppose at 10 degree Celsius the resistance of a given material is 10 ohms. For the increase of 1 degree Celsius, suppose, assume that this becomes 10.10 degree Celsius. Okay, if this is the case. Okay, or you can say, so this is the case, fine. Now how to define alpha? You apply this into here. So alpha 1 by R naught. R naught is the resistance at 0 degree, but in our case assume that R naught is the initial resistance. So that is 10 degree, 10 ohms, not degree, sorry, 10 ohms. Don't get confused, okay? So 10 ohms. And you can see formula is dR by dt, that is change in resistance per change in temperature. Okay. If you want to calculate the change in resistance, how to calculate? What is the change in resistance? 10.10 ohms minus 10 ohms is the change in resistance, divided by what is change in temperature? 11 degree Celsius minus 10 degree Celsius. Okay, so that this becomes 1 by 10 multiplied by 0.10 divided by, okay, the change in resistance 0.10 divided by 1. So that what it will be? 0.10 divided by 10, it becomes 0.01. 0.01 is the thermal coefficient of a material. Right? In that way you can understand what is thermal coefficient of a material. Isn't it? Good. Now let's move for an example. Now we shall discuss an experiment using Wheatstone bridge, which is formed in the form of Carré-Foster bridge, to calculate the thermal coefficient of a material. Come on. So it is an experimental procedure to calculate alpha experimentally. that is thermal coefficient of resistance. For that, let us construct a Carey-Foster bridge in this purpose. Hope you remember how to construct Carey-Foster's bridge that we have discussed in the previous lecture. If you have any doubt on it, you maybe prefer to refer that. Denoted by AB, and this length of the wire is 1 meter. There are connecting points like this. Now we have to connect an equal resistance P and Q here. Then here an known resistance which are in the order of an unknown resistance that is to be connected here. But our objective is not to calculate the unknown resistance, rather we need to calculate the thermal coefficient of a given material, and we need to calculate the battery in between this that has the value E, and in the middle we have to calculate, we have to connect a galvanometer through a resistance, higher resistance, to a jockey. Okay, and we are given with a material, say for example wire, whose thermal coefficients is to be calculated. So that wire is taken here, it is connected in such a way that a beaker is taken, then a glass is placed. Okay, this beaker is filled with water. Inside it has ice cubes, and the given material is wired, spiral wired like this, and it is put into the glass tube. Glass tube is immersed within the water up beaker, and a thermometer is inserted into it, and it is filled with ice. So this is ice, this is water, this is thermometer. So it is the material whose alpha needs to be calculated. Okay, fine. So this is the experimental setup. Essentially, it is the Carey-Foster's bridge. Fine. Now, this is non-inductive. The assumption is it is non-inductive. That is, making spiral will not create any inductive effect in this wire. Assuming in that way. Now what we are going to do? We are going to calculate by switching on this key. At 0 degree temperature, there will be a resistance in this wire, and you can calculate the balancing length, right? And you can increase the temperature, right? You know how to use the Carey-Foster bridge. If you are increasing the temperature, this resistance will also be changed, so that you can do the procedure to calculate the experiment for unknown resistance, and using the method that we have discussed in the previous lecture. If you have doubts, you can refer that. So starting from 0 degree Celsius, we need to calculate what is the value of this wire that holds. So at 0 degree, resistance will be R1. At 10 degree, resistance will be R2. At 20 degree, resistance will be R3, and so on. Here also, and so on, up to 100 degrees Celsius, we have to calculate what is R. Okay. Then using this table, so this is the tabular column. We have temperature and we have resistance, and we can take the temperature on x-axis, resistance on y-axis, and we can able to draw a graph by keeping the temperature on x-axis, resistance on y-axis. For 0, for 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on, this is nothing but the temperature. For every value, there may be one resistance value. Okay. Now, if we connecting this, it will meet at a point in y. This point is nothing but R0. So here R will increase in y-axis. The unit for y-axis is ohm. The unit for x-axis is degree Celsius. Whenever you are writing a graph, you are drawing a graph, you need to mention what is the scale in x-axis, what is the unit in x-axis, and what is the label, that is the parameter that is drawn in the graph in x and y-axis, and etc. etc. Okay. Now if you want to calculate the slope, you can calculate slope like this. So here the temperature is changing. So this is T1, T2, and the difference is dt. And here this is R1, this point, you can connect over here. This is R1, you can connect over here. So this is R2, this is R1. So R1 and R2, this difference is nothing but dr. Okay. So now we got what is dr, what is dt, what is R0. Now we can apply it into this equation for thermal coefficient of a given material that we have obtained as alpha, which is equal to 1 by R0 dr by dt. Here this we can obtain from slope, this we can obtain from y-intercept. This we can obtain from y-intercept of the graph. So this is R0 and this slope. How to calculate the slope? Equation for slope is equal to tan theta, that is nothing but y by x dr by dt, right? This is y component, this is x component, so dr by dt. In that way you can calculate it. So applying this in the equation, you will be able to get what is the thermal conductivity of the material using this Carry-Foster's-Bridge experiment. Well, suppose if I am given with a parameter, right? For example, I have given with two parameters alone, like this. For example, at 10 degrees Celsius I have the resistance R2, at 20 degrees Celsius I have the resistance R3. That is, for a given temperature T1 the resistance is R1, for the given temperature T2 the resistance is R2. If it is given, then how do I calculate the thermal coefficient of a given material? For this we can write that equation. What is equation? The equation, you can write R1, equation for R1, which is nothing but R0, that is the resistance at 0 degree temperature, 1 plus alpha T1. Similarly, you can write R2, R0, 1 plus alpha T2. What is given? R1, R2 is given, T1, T2 is given, but R0 is not given. Don't bother about that. Now, how do we obtain an expression to calculate the alpha if you are given with these four terms? For this, let us rewrite this equation in terms of R0, so that R0 becomes, from the first equation, R1 by 1 plus alpha T1, from the second equation R2 by 1 plus alpha T2. Left hand sides are equal, so that right hand side must also be equal, so that it becomes R1 by 1 plus alpha 1 of T, which is equal to R2 by 1 plus alpha T1 and alpha T2. Okay, now bring this equation to here, this equation to here, so that R1 plus R1 alpha T2, which is equal to R2 plus R2 alpha T1. What is the idea? We need to rewrite this equation in terms of alpha in order to get thermal coefficient of a given material. So this is alpha is here, there is an alpha is here, so we can write R1 alpha T2 minus R2 alpha T1. You bring this term to the left hand side. Then R2, you bring this term to the right hand side, minus R1. Now take out the alpha common. What is remaining? R1 T2 minus R2 T1, which is equal to R2 minus R1. So that alpha becomes R2 minus R1 by R1 T2 minus R2 T1. So in this way you can able to obtain an expression for thermal coefficient of a material if only two parameters, that is the resistance at two different temperatures, are given. Then using this formula you can able to calculate. So this is all about how to determine the thermal coefficient of a resistance. Okay, fine. So with this, let me close this session and we will resume back in the next video.